Welcome back to another edition of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II. Excuse me, you guys, slipping up over there. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We are live right now. I'm here to talk to all the people. I'm here to kick it with you guys. Super grateful for the platform that we've been building thus far. You guys are truly a part of this family, a part of this ecosystem that we're building, and we wouldn't have made it to where we are without you guys. So just make sure you smash that like button to show your appreciation. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, especially if you're new. I always appreciate newcomers to the show. I always appreciate when new people find it because I know you guys have so many options, right? You guys have so many people out there who are doing this thing at a high level, so many dope content creators covering your Philadelphia Eagles, covering the NFL, right? So I appreciate you guys for locking in the way you guys have with me. You guys have showed commitment. You guys have invested in me. You guys have put your hard-earned dollars where your mouth is, and I can't argue against that. So I really do appreciate you guys. I can't wait to get into this content. I have a few things I want to talk about with you guys. We weren't live yesterday. I needed to recharge a little bit, so I appreciate you guys being patient with me. But we did drop a few videos yesterday, and a lot of you guys showed out for that, and I really can't thank you guys enough. We even had Packers fans losing their minds in the comment section, right? You got Packers fans calling you out your name. They saying you don't watch football and all. They're nervous. Those Packers fans are nervous. Can't you tell? Can't you see it? Can't you feel it? They nervous, if you ask me. Like, look, I'm just a guy who covers the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't pay what I say any mind. You know, I'm not a journalist. You know, I don't get paid multi-million dollars to talk. No, that ain't me. Don't get mad at little old me. I'm just covering how I see it. You feel what I'm saying? I really think these Packers fans are very nervous because they know they have just as much to prove as the Philadelphia Eagles do, right? Now, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Packers, their seasons ended entirely differently, right? The Packers, their season ended on a high note, regardless of how that last playoff game went. They ended on a high note, right? Whereas the Philadelphia Eagles, they didn't really end things on the highest of high notes. It was rather a low note, not even a mid note, a low note, the lowest of the low. I don't think we're ever going to see a Jalen Hurts led team ever stoop that low again in terms of performance and just overall, commitment to what's going on. Right? There was a lack of synergy in terms of coaching and player and so on and so forth. We ain't got to get too deep into that. But I think these Packers fans are nervous because everybody I see on the national scale, and I try not to watch too much national media because a lot of it is just nonsense. It's all clickbait. They're just trying to sell something. They're all picking the Packers. A lot of people are picking the Packers to win this game. So that's why I say to myself, how can we not be the underdog? How can we not be the underdog? So many people are saying, well, based off of how they finished that season last year, the Philadelphia Eagles, they got to prove it to me. They gotta prove that all is well. That team is coming off of one of their most dysfunctional seasons in a while. They have to prove that all is well. So I'm rolling with the rising stock in the Green Bay Packers. That's what they say, right? A lot of people believe the Eagles stock is down, regardless of the talent we have, right? They believe the Eagles stock is down. And then they want to buy into the Jordan Love. They want to buy into the Green Bay Packers stock. Hey, it's not a bad stock to buy. It's not a bad stock to buy into. I'll be the first to tell you that Green Bay Packers stock is not the worst to buy into. You know, it may be a little high to buy. As a matter of fact, you probably can buy in at a pretty reasonable price right now. But that Philadelphia Eagles stock, I'm telling you, they treating us like a penny stock. They treating us like, hey, man, low risk, high reward. and my mindset with the Philadelphia Eagles is thus. How can you sit here and say with the way this team is built, the way they've calibrated the coaching staff, the way they've actually put people in position that actually know what they're doing, how can you sit here and say that the Philadelphia Eagles aren't a playoff team? There are people out there who get paid the big bucks who actually think the Philadelphia Eagles are not going to make the playoffs. Like, seriously. That's the part that blows my mind. You got people out there who say, Jalen Hurts got to prove it to me. What do you mean? He's giving you back-to-back seasons of production. Now, obviously, the result wasn't desirable in 2023, and he had an uncharacteristic year in terms of turning the ball over, right? But Jalen Hurts has strung together 2 seasons that were damn near identical in terms of stat production. We got to be honest about that, right? We got to be honest about that, and we're gonna break that down much more as we get throughout the show. I have other things that I want to address before we get to that point, but I'm telling you, they really think the Philadelphia Eagles is light work. They think this is going to be an easy one for the Packers. That's what they think. But both of those teams, both of those quarterbacks, both of those defenses have something to prove. They have something to prove. That Packers defense wasn't elite last year. Just how that Eagles defense wasn't elite last year. They had certain aspects about them that you liked. But overall, the Packers, they ended the season on a high note. The Eagles, they have to regain that respect in the league. Okay, fair enough, but you can't sit here and dismiss what they have done. You can't dismiss what they have shown you, right? You just can't dismiss that. You can't. Jalen Hurts is one of the most productive quarterbacks in the NFL, whether you like him or not. Whether you like how he plays the game or not, he's one of the most productive quarterbacks in the NFL. That's a fact. That's a fact. Oh, no. Hey, Deshaun Hill, don't get nervous now. Don't get nervous now. Don't walk it back now. I've been paying attention to your people. Hey, Deshaun, maybe it ain't being you. Maybe you've been humble. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe you've been humble, but I'm telling you right now, I've been paying attention to your community. Oh, yeah. Y'all think this is going to be light work. I promise you that. Y'all think there's going to be light work. And I'm telling you, he is nervous, y'all. That's why he's talking right now. That's why he's saying he's nervous right now. He nervous. Because you know what they're going to say if that game don't go right? Damn, did we pay Jordan Love too soon? That's what they're going to say. They're going to be nervous. They nervous. But it's all good, though. It's all good. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate it. We're going to have some fun today. Because the Packers, I mean, let's be honest about this. What have you done? What have you done? See, that's the thing, right? The Packers fans got to be mindful of who they are and who they've been, right? You can't keep living off the legacy of Brett Favre. You can't keep living off the legacy of a underachieving Aaron Rodgers. You can't live off that legacy, right? And then you got Jordan Love, who's the golden boy right now. But what has he really done in this league? What has he done? Right? My guy has accomplished more than your guy. That's a fact. But like I said, that Jordan Love stock, people loving it right now. That's okay. I'm actually happy for him. I'm happy for that brother because I actually like that brother as a quarterback. I like Jordan Love a lot. I love his game. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's on his way to being top 10, if not already a top 10 quarterback in this league. I think Jordan Love that stock is rising. I love Jordan Love as a player. I really, really do. But this week, he's an op. And this week, Jalen Hurts is going to show him that there's levels to this thing. That's the fact of the matter. I like Jordan Love. I really do. I love his game. But it's more than one way to play the quarterback position, which is something that people don't want to wrap their mind around. For some reason, it's hard for people to comprehend that. They can't compute that there's more than one way to play the quarterback position. But it's all good, though. Jalen Hurts has been one of the most productive quarterbacks in the NFL over the past 2 seasons. Say what you want about it. And he's going to continue to prove why he deserves the respect that he's been rightfully given by his peers and by his constituents in Philadelphia. I'm so glad that this game is being played, where it's being played, how it's being played, how it's being broadcasted. The world gonna know. The world's gonna be reminded that Jalen Hurts is that guy. They're gonna be reminded, but it's all good though. We all got our opinions. We all got our thought processes, and we all have our ways of digesting the game. I'm not here to convince you. I promise you I'm not. I could care less about convincing you. That's not why I'm here ever. My goal was never to convince you. My goal was to give you my spin. And if you agree, cool, that's a plus. If you don't, hey, oh well, keep watching the show. It gets better. You dig what I'm saying? So make sure you guys smash that like button, whether you agree or disagree. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't really matter to me. I promise you. I could care less. I could care less. I have fun with this. I love this. I live for this. I live for this forum. I live for this way of communicating. I live for content creation. I love this. So I'm not here to convince no soul that Jalen Hurts is that dude. Your eyes going to tell you. Your eyes going to tell you. That's all it is. I mean, this offense, when you think about it from top to bottom, loaded. The Green Bay Packers are going to have a hard day. They're going to have a hard day. And I don't understand why the rest of I don't really understand it. Right? We've seen teams flip a switch in the NFL over the course of 2-3 weeks. Y'all think the Eagles can't flip a switch over the course of several months? They're several months removed from what happened last season. They are so focused on it now. The only people focused on what happened back then was the national guys. The only people focused on what happened last year are the people who are nervous. My confidence is through the roof. I'm excited about this game. And you know the thing is, there's a lot of Packers fans out there who are really excited about this game too, right? I'm excited to talk trash with y'all. I'm excited for this game. May the best team win. This is going to be, in my opinion, this may be the best international matchup that we've ever seen. Is that fair to say, Packers fans? If y'all in here, don't hide. You know, I'm a very fair communicator. If you watch my show, if you know me, you know I'm very fair. And I do my best to be as unbiased as I can. I do my best. But it's clear I'm a supporter of the Philadelphia Eagles. Kind of hard to really, kind of hard to not show my bias, but I try to be as fair as possible. If you really like it on my content, you'll know that. But Packers fans, we got to admit mutually, this is going to be a hell of a game, right? This is going to be a hell of a game. Two quarterbacks who are on the rise, who are ascending, who have potential to be, quite frankly, the leaders of the new school. People forget that Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts are from the same draft class. Jordan Love was the first round pick. I think he was a top 25, top 30 pick, right? I think he was picked between pick 20 and pick 30. Jordan Love, first round pick. Jalen Hurts was a early to mid second round pick, something like that. That draft class, people are going to talk about that draft. There's going to be a documentary about that draft class. I believe that draft class has Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. That's a pretty talented draft class, if you ask me, in terms of quarterback. And they all play the position drastically differently from the other. That's what makes that draft class so beautiful. You get that might be the most dynamic quarterback draft class we've seen over the past 20 years, because each of those guys are $50+ million men. Each of those guys are extremely talented. Each of those guys have some level of playoff success, except for Justin Herbert. And each of those guys play the position drastically differently from the other. Joe Burrow, more of the surgical, dink and dunk you down the field. He loves to take advantage of that intermediate, right? Justin Herbert, the gunslinger, the big arm kid, loves to throw the ball down the field. Athletic. Tua Tagovailoa, the distributor, the point guard, knows how to utilize his weapons and maximize the tools around him, right? A conductor, so to speak, right? Jordan Love, the tall, statuesque quarterback who has mobile ability, who has that elasticity with his throwing motion, talented, can get the ball in his playmaker's hands, more athletic than you think he is, can process the game. Jalen Hurts, dynamic, can throw the ball, can run the ball, leader of men, knows how to maximize his talent, has given guys career years. All these guys have Pro Bowls, and two of these guys have Super Bowl appearances, and 2 of these guys have conference championships, and there's a couple of these guys have all pros attached to their names, right? That draft class is legitimate. Jalen Hurts is more of that power quarterback. You feel what I'm saying? So it's going to be amazing for Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love to grace the same stage. This is my football fan talking. You know, my fandom aside, I'm excited about this matchup. I'm excited about who we're playing. The Packers were in the playoffs last year. They had a solid run. This is the perfect matchup, in my humble opinion. I want this matchup. I want this level of smoke. I don't want no handouts. I don't want nobody looking back at that Eagles schedule or looking at the matchup saying, oh, they was handed that one. I want everything, and I want to earn that big time. You feel what I'm saying? I love where we're going. I love it. It's going to be electric. It's going to be electric, you guys. So before we get into the ripping of each other's franchises, just think about the moment that we're about to experience on Friday night. Football is back tonight. Chiefs and Ravens play. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, 2 of the best of the craft. Both of these guys are in the top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Thursday, Friday, this is what you live for as a football fan, as a fan of the NFL product. Right? Both of those Green Bay and Eagles defenses have something to prove. None of those defenses are perfect. Neither of them. Both of those defenses, as they're presently constructed, as we know them to be, both of those defenses can get 25 plus 30 points dropped on them. That's the reality. But I'm betting on my team. I'm betting on the midnight green. I'm betting on black. You feel what I'm saying? I'm betting on black. So, moving on a little bit, I want to talk to you guys about the Devin White and Nakobe Dean situation. And I appreciate you guys for being here. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. Let me read some of your comments. Let me get to these super chats. My man Michael Felder with the $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says football is here. Let's go. Hey, Tone, check your Facebook inbox, brother. Oh shoot, I'll be honest, Michael. I don't even use Facebook inbox. I really don't. But I'll download it again. I'll download it, and I'll see what's going on. That's the least I could do. Thank you, Michael. I really do appreciate your super chat, brother. Thank you. Brian with the $5 super chat. He said, "Hey Tone, according to the media, the Packers got 4 AJ Browns and the next coming to Warren Moon. I don't see it. Teams got a lot of tape with J Love now, though. You know what's funny? That Packers wide receiver core, they're deep. They're very good at what they do. I would argue all those Packers wide receivers are all B-level receivers, which makes it hard to predict where the ball is going, which works to their benefit. And I don't mean that as a slight to call them B-level receivers, because I think all of their receivers will be number 2s in any offense, right? Or number 2s in most top 10 offenses. I do believe that. I think Romeo Doubs is coming. The stock is rising for him. Christian Watson, I think his stock is rising. You know, they got Josh Jacobs out there as well. You know, they're talented on that side of the ball. I'm not going to dismiss their talent at the skill positions. I just think their offensive line is overrated. And I believe that their skill position guys are as a core, as a group, top 10 in the NFL easily. As a group, top 10 is top 10. But that Green Bay doesn't have a top 10 receiver on their roster. You get what I'm saying? But the core, the group as a whole, top 10 in the NFL, just because of what Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love are able to accomplish with those guys. But the Eagles, they're just different. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Then you add in Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert, and you can't forget the Saquon Barkley effect with the offensive line and the quarterback. It's just different. It's different. But I love where Green Bay is going. I love Green Bay's weapons. I really, really do. And I think their quarterback is going to do great things, but he's not going to do anything great on Friday night because that's where that's where it ends for him. And then he'll be able to do whatever he wants later on in the season. But as far as Friday, he's going to have a rude awakening. That's just my humble opinion. And it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a very, very fun game. Thank you, Brian, for the $5 super chat. Michael Felder, thank you for your $10 super chat. It means a lot to me, fellas. Appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Yeah. So let me see this other comment. Let's see. Philly also says love is about to get his. Welcome to the NFL moment tomorrow night. Hey man, I think it's going to be a competitive game. It's going to be a hell of a game. I don't have my score prediction yet. I'm going to give you guys my score prediction tomorrow. I'm going to be live a couple times tomorrow. I'm going to be live earlier in the day, and I'm going to be live in the afternoon on the drive home around 4:00 Eastern with my man Pro Fan Talk. So I'm going to give you guys my predictions throughout the day tomorrow. So I really do appreciate you guys for locking in on the content. Wicked One says, facts, Tone. We're just a better team. Fanny says, Dobbs is the only concern. Romeo Dobbs is the only concern. Watson is not all that. He is a B- receiver at best. See, the thing about Christian Watson is he's a big dude and he's fast. Like, if he gets going, if he gets going, he can be hard to deal with because of the size and the speed. And then Romeo Dobbs, man, he's just a really, really, really good route runner. He's a really good route runner, and they do really well with creating space for each other. That's the reality. That's the reality. That's the reality. And you know, we're gonna have a lot of Green Bay fans in here really sad because they feel like I'm not giving their O-line enough respect. And they got to prove it to me. That's all it is. You know, I know what a great O-line looks like. We're used to that. Let's see. Cody said, you're going to make this 14-hour shift so much better. Thanks for the show. Thanks for the show, Tone. No worries, my man. Peter Walker says, 37-3 Eagles. Book it. That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy box score, bro. Crazy. Jay says 35-21 Eagles. Will Kelly says, I don't think their receivers get separation either. No, they get separation. And on top of that, the coaching really helps get them open as well. LaFleur's scheme is top tier. Bite Me says Green Bay 45, Philadelphia 10. Book it. That's not realistic at all. M. Johnson says, aren't we wearing black? Yeah, we are. I think we're wearing white tops. We're wearing black helmets, white jerseys, black pants. Let's see. What else we got here? Fanny says, whoever wins earned the win. Of course. You know, I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, if this didn't happen and that didn't happen, you won. You earned that one. CG says Eagles defense is suspect. And that Green Bay defense not either. They suspect too. They very suspect. Do your due diligence. They suspect. Bite Me says Super Bowl appearance isn't anything to brag about. Get a Super Bowl dub like the Packers. Philadelphia fans, then you can talk your ish. We got a Super Bowl, big dog. When the last, hold on, let's be honest, right? Let's keep it a buck. Y'all ain't sniffed the Super Bowl since 2010 or 2009. It was, right? And y'all like, come on, man. Let's be honest about this, right? Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl 52, 2018. That's off the bucket list, big dog. That's off the bucket list. Now it's about, making a collection. You dig what I'm saying? So here's the reality, bro. Here's the reality. Your quarterback, as much as they want to pretend he's proven, money don't make the man. Jordan Love ain't proved nothing yet in this league. He hasn't. Jordan Love gave you 9 good games. So be humble. Be humble that you may have found a long-term answer. Be happy about that. Your quarterback, where's no Pro Bowls, no All Pros, no conference championship appearance, none of that. It's levels to this. So please be comfortable that you allowed in this house. Be comfortable that my people letting you exist here. Be humble about that. Be humble about that. You know what I'm saying? My man showed up when it mattered most. Now we can nitpick why it went how it went, but my man showed up when it mattered most. I show love to Jordan Love. I show love to that skill. I show love to them receivers, and I show love to certain guys. I try to keep it trill. But best believe, my guy, it's levels to this, and your quarterback has not seen the levels my quarterback has seen. Stop it. Stop it. Your quarterback got a lot of boxes to check before he get to talk to mine. That's a fact. He got to check a few more boxes before he get to talk to my guy. Cody with the $10 super chat. He says this Green Bay wide receiver situation makes no sense. Everyone's saying they have 4 great receivers. This was the same group last year that no one had one good word about, and they only won 9 games and no standouts. See, I think their receiving core is good, not great. I think they're good, not great. I think the scheme and Matt LaFleur's ability to get those guys open and create space for them, I think that elevates their game as well. I think that receiving core does a great job at doing exactly what their job is. They're always where they're supposed to be. They run crisp routes. That receiving core is talented. I'm not going to disrespect Green Bay's receiving core. That would be a lie. I'm not going to disrespect Green Bay's receiving core, not one bit. Let's see. Thank you again, Cody, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Brian Pumper with the $5 super. He says, so it's going to be Keely Ringo and Cooper DeJean stepping up. Rodgers out. Really? So it's official. He out? Wow. Let me see. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal if that's the case. Because I heard Isaiah Rodgers was questionable. I heard about that. Let me see. I got to find it. Damn. Isaiah Rodgers is out. So Keely Ringo. So you know what? This is what I wanted from the beginning, though. I wanted Keely Ringo to be out there. This is exactly what I wanted. Not the injury, though. I don't want Isaiah Rodgers dealing with an injury. It's the last thing I want. It's the last thing I want. I want Isaiah Rodgers healthy. I want Keely Ringo to win the starting spot fair and square. But I always felt like Keely Ringo should have been the starter. I always felt like that. And now we get to see why. Now we get to see Keely Ringo on the big stage. I'm excited about that. I can't wait. I'm excited to see Keely Ringo. He should have been named the starter from the beginning. He should have been named the starter from the beginning. That's just me. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all crazy. But yeah, thank you, Brian, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Chris Scott says, I love Ringo. He should match up with Christian Watson. Yeah, that might be the matchup right there, size-wise and speed-wise. Yeah, that's definitely the matchup. Yeah, so it's official. It's official here. Let me pull up the injury report. Let me pull it up for you guys. So it's official. Devin White out with an ankle. Isaiah Rodgers out with a hand injury. A.J. Brown and Landon Dickerson are full participants. They're good to go. So we're going to get a sneak peek at the Keely Ringo experiment. So you're going to have 4 Georgia Bulldogs starting. You're going to have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, and Isaiah Rodgers starting. Wow. Maybe this is Maybe this is a sign. This is a sign. We're going to be able to see these guys at work. We're going to be able to see these guys at work. I'm really excited to see Kelee Ringo. This is why you have depth at the position. Remember, we talked about this all offseason, you guys. We talked about this. They have so much depth at line. They have so much depth at cornerback, right? So I don't think we should be nervous about this. It's unfortunate, obviously, but I don't think we should be nervous about this. And Isaiah Rodgers, it's his hand. I think he'll be okay. He was limited. He'll be okay. I think Isaiah Rodgers will be starting next week. But Kelee Ringo, I'm not mad at this, not one bit. Kelee Ringo gets his opportunity. Let's see. JK123 says this was going to be a tough game before all the injuries. We given there's only two of them. There's only two injuries, and a lot of you guys weren't high on Devin White anyway. So a lot of you guys are higher on Nakobe Dean. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not worried. I'm honestly not worried about this. So yep, that's the injury report. Devin White, Isaiah Rodgers out. That means Nakobe Dean and Kelee Ringo are in. And the Kelee Ringo situation is definitely fascinating to me because obviously it's a huge opportunity for him. You know, he's trying to prove that he should be the long-term answer at the position at linebacker. That's what he's trying to prove. But it wasn't the fact that Devin White being hurt was the storyline, right? The storyline was that there was a report by Philadelphia Inquirer reporter Jeff McClain that Nakobe Dean was slated to be the starter anyway, saying that he actually beat out Devin White in camp. Because, you know, just because training camp ended, that doesn't mean that leading up to that game, they didn't feel more comfortable with Nakobe Dean or whoever it may be, right? That team had about 2 weeks leading up to this game in between training camp ending. So a lot could have changed. A lot could have happened in that short amount of time. And whatever Nakobe Dean showed them, he earned it. That's the thing that you can't, that's the one thing you can't take away from in this situation. Last year, Nakobe Dean didn't necessarily earn that spot. A lot of people felt like it was just handed it to him. And a lot of people felt like it was just handed to him. And honestly, you can't really deny that. Who was he competing against? They gave him the green dot off the rip. And then he started dealing with injuries. So, you know, this is a huge opportunity for Nakobe Dean. Beating out Devin White says a lot about where he is as well. And we got to talk about it from this perspective. There was a point in the offseason, there was a point during training camp when Nakobe Dean was not really held in the highest regard, especially with Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio came out openly and said, you know, Nakobe, he's been struggling. He basically said that. He started out strong, but then he fell off. But ever since Vic Fangio called him out, Nakobe Dean has become a different player. He's been able to string together some of these positive performances. He's been able to string together some stable ground for himself. And it's translated. And trust me, Vic Fangio wouldn't have that brother out there if he couldn't play. Vic Fangio wouldn't have that brother out there if he didn't trust him. Now, granted, you got to work with what you got. And I'm not saying that the Philadelphia Eagles have this elite linebacker room because they don't. There's a lot to be proven in that room. A lot left to be proven between all those guys. But on Friday night, we're going to see Nakobe Dean and Zach Baum playing together. That's a really athletic duo. I'm really curious to see how that works out. And then obviously you got to think about it from the perspective of, you know, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Those guys trust Nakobe. They trust him back to their college days. They know his tendencies. Nakobe Dean knows their tendencies. He knows what they want to do, right? Nakobe knows how to read their body language and where to be and how to get there based off of how they move, right? There's a chemistry factor there that can definitely help Nakobe Dean transition into this game, you know, for him to have a solid game, right? But we can't sit here and say he didn't earn it. We can't say that at all. That's one thing we got to be honest about. Nakobe Dean, he earned it this time. And I'm really curious to see how he takes this. I'm really curious to see how far he carries this opportunity here. Because let's say when Devin White gets healthy, right? Can Nakobe Dean keep him at bay? That's what's going to have to happen here. And on top of that, right? They're going to have to figure out at some point what's the combination that works. You don't want to keep swapping out linebackers. That's annoying to your other defensive personnel. You need consistency on that defensive side. You want those guys being able to hear the same voices. So let's see if Nakobe Dean can keep Devin White at bay. And I wish Nakobe Dean luck. I really, really do. Like I said, him and Zach Bond, they bring a lot of athleticism to the position. You never know. You might see Jeremiah Trotter out there if Vic Fangio's not like, if he doesn't like what he's seeing from Zach Bond. You know, remember, we like that combination of Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So don't be surprised if Zach Bond is not cutting it. Don't be surprised if Jeremiah Trotter don't start second half or whatever it may be. It's very possible that could happen. Because Vic Fangio's not going to sit there and just allow the Green Bay Packers to get what they want. He's going to make adjustments throughout the game, right? He's going to tweak guys' roles, and he's going to make the necessary adjustments that need to be made. That was something that was missing from past defensive coordinators, guys that wouldn't make the necessary adjustments. I think Vic Fangio has all the experience in the world to make the necessary adjustments when need be. But again, I'm excited for Nakobe Dean. You know, even when Nolan Smith is on the field, right? There's going to be a moment where there's 5 Georgia Bulldogs on the field. There's going to be a moment where you see Keely Ringo, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, and Nolan Smith all on the field at the same time. There's going to be moments like that throughout this game of tomorrow, and that's going to be pretty cool to see. It's just a matter of what will those guys bring to the table. That's going to be exciting as well. Everyone is facing their own demons. Everyone is facing their own uphill battles in some way, right? I think all these players are ready for the moment. I think all these players have been through such a turbulent 2023 season, experiencing the high, the lows of the lows, making it to a Super Bowl and having that experience. I think this team is ready. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are ready. I think Jalen Hurts, Nakobe Dean, I think all those brothers are locked in. Best believe that. I firmly believe Jalen Hurts is locked in. And like I mentioned earlier, you know, a lot of people have their own doubts about Jalen Hurts. They have their doubts about Jalen Hurts, which I really don't. I don't buy it, because when I look at Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, I see every year he's gotten better. I see a quarterback that's been supremely productive, especially over the past 2 seasons where he took his big jump in 2022. Right? I see a guy that's in an offense, that's in a situation that's conducive to his success. I see a guy who has 2 Pro Bowls under his belt, who has an All-Pro under his belt, who has the Burt Bell Award that goes to the top player in the NFL that year. I see a guy who's played to the highest of his ability in the Super Bowl before, and who still has plenty of room to grow. I see a guy who's going to have autonomy over his offense for the first time, who's going to take his game to a level that we didn't even anticipate. We're going to see a new, improved Jalen Hurts come Friday. That's my mindset. I want to smoke with everybody. I take my guys against everybody. And again, just to add context to this, right? You know, this is the next step in Jalen Hurts' evolution as a franchise quarterback. And I want to revisit what he did in 2023. 2023, through the struggles, by the way, through all the struggles, Jalen Hurts remained productive. Over 4,400 yards in total offensive yards, a 65% completion percentage, 38 total touchdowns, was in the running for the MVP before things kind of took a nosedive for the rest of the team. Now, he did have 19 total turnovers, but when you look at his production from 2023 and compare it to his production during the Super Bowl run, you say to yourself, hold on, wait, this guy was just as productive, if not more. It was just the turnovers that was a problem. which is uncharacteristic. That's another part about this whole Jalen Hurts conversation that kind of blows my mind, that people like to pretend that he's a turnover machine. He's not. He's not. Jalen Hurts turned the ball over more times in 2023 than he did in the 3 years prior or 4 years prior in his whole career. Think about that. In 2023, he had 19 turnovers. That's more turnovers than all 3 of his previous seasons combined. That's not characteristic of a Jalen Hurts to turn the ball over willy-nilly, to be loose with the ball. That's not his character. That's not a trend from Jalen Hurts. But you want to know what a trend is? A trend is a guy who's been able to make it to the playoffs. Right? That's a trend. That's something I can hang my hat on. 3 straight years in the playoffs. Made it to a Super Bowl. 2-time Pro Bowler. All-Pro. Back-to-back seasons with 35 or more touchdowns. Back-to-back seasons of over 4,000 yards, 4,300 yards of offensive production. Winning football games. That's the trend, not the turnovers. So do I expect Jalen Hurts to come into this game or come into this season and throw 15 interceptions? I don't. I really don't. It's not in his DNA. It's uncharacteristic. It's off-brand. Winning is on brand for Jalen Hurts. That's who he is. He wins football games, no matter if you like it or not. They think it's only one way to play this position. Jalen Hurts is ready for this moment. He's ready to go toe-to-toe with Green Bay. And guess what? You know what they're going to say? They're going to try to find another reason to discourage him or another reason to discredit him, rather. They're going to try to find another way to discredit him. Well, they won the game, but Hurts, he wasn't perfect. Yeah, they won, but they only beat him by 3. But let Green Bay beat us by 3. Green Bay, are they Super Bowl contenders? Are they for real? Should Green Bay be considered one of the best teams in the NFC? Should the 49ers be nervous about Green Bay? Listen, if the Green Bay Packers win, they're going to get all the love and praise. If we win the game, they're going to say, I still need to see more. You see, the Philadelphia Eagles don't play by the same rules as everybody else in the NFL. They try to hold Jalen Hurts to this proverbial standard that they don't hold other quarterbacks to. I was watching my man Laura Brunson earlier, right? And he said something that really resonated with me. Shout out to him. He said, one of the reasons why guys talk ill about Jalen Hurts and why they act like he ain't really that is because they can't explain it. I loved when he said that because I feel him 100%. They can't explain it. They can't find a way to qualify or quantify his contributions. All they can say is, it doesn't quite look like how I want it to look. That's all they really have. Jalen Hurts, it doesn't, this, that, the way he throws, he doesn't have an arm as strong as this guy, or maybe he's not as athletic as this guy, or whatever. They can't explain it. But this brother Jalen Hurts wins football games. He wins football games. What more explanation do you need? He's been to the playoffs 3 years in a row. What more explanation do you need? He's been to a Super Bowl before. He's won an NFC. He's won a conference championship. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, a former All-Pro, Burt Bell Award winner. What more explanation do you need? He's given wide receivers their best career numbers ever in their careers. What more explanation do you need? What more do you need? His presence on the football field has allowed for his running backs to allowed for the Eagles to have back-to-back 1,000-yard rushers. And those running backs have not done any of that in any other situation outside of being with Jalen Hurts. What more do you need? I don't get it. Or maybe I do get it. But it's one of those things that won't ever end. It's on brand. It comes with the territory. The Philadelphia Eagles are that brand. They are that organization. They are that fan base that people really they need us more than they realize. They hate that they need us. I'll put you that way. There are certain fan bases that the national media that they need in order to make numbers, in order to push numbers forward. They need it. They need to talk about the Eagles. They need to talk about the Cowboys. They need those teams, right? Thank God Patrick Mahomes is in Kansas City, because if he wasn't, they would not be talking about Kansas City at all. Thank God. I'm just trying to keep it real. Eagles fans, we push the envelope forward. That's why they talk about us the way they talk about us, because we make them nervous. We make them nervous, and they know we'll take the bait. We got to stop taking the bait. Leave that to the Cowboys. Leave that to the Cowboys. So, yeah, Jalen Hurts, his turnover differential, that's the difference between 2022 and 2023. Nothing else, nothing more. And obviously the coaching was lackluster, and Jalen Hurts began pressing a bit. But overall, I think this is going to be an electric game. I think this is a great test for all parties involved. You're not going to hear me up here pretending as if the Green Bay Packers aren't a quality opponent. The Green Bay Packers are a quality opponent. And it does suck to be dealing with certain injuries around this time, right? You know, Isaiah Rodgers being out with a hand, Devin White being out with an ankle, right? But the Devin White situation is unique because they already had Nakobe Dean slotted as the starter. It seems like we were just the last ones to find out. So Isaiah Rodgers being out, Kelee Ringo steps right in. We've seen Kelee Ringo play, right? We've seen that. I trust Kelee Ringo out there. I trust, believe it or not, you guys, they got to prove it to me. But I'm rolling with Nakobe Dean tonight. I'm rolling. Or tomorrow night, rather. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you can do. It's your time. Shoot. Because it's some people that's not willing to buy into the defense until they show you something. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be, quite frankly. They got to show us. They got to show us. Kelee Ringo, Nakobe Dean, those guys, y'all stepping in, y'all got to show us something. This defense entirely got to show us something, man. The Eagles defense has to be solid this year. They cannot be the weak link. They cannot. They cannot. So regardless, it's going to be exciting. And I'm happy about the opponent that we're facing. The perfect quarterback to go up against. The perfect offense. The perfect defense. I love it. I love it all the way around. The perfect head coach in Matt LaFleur. I love it. This is going to be a great matchup. This could be an NFC Championship preview. This could be a divisional or a wild card round preview. You feel what I'm saying, y'all? This could be a preview. Now, another thing about the Isaiah Rodgers situation, right? We assume Kelee Ringo is starting, right? That's the first thing that came to mind. We assume Kelee Ringo gets in. But what if they put Quinyon Mitchell on the outside for the remainder of the game and they put Avonte Maddox in the slot? That could be a situation. What if they put Quinyon Mitchell out there instead? That could be something that we watch. Because Quinyon Mitchell, he was supposed to be the starting corner in base formation, and then whenever they went to the nickel, he would shift over to the slot, and then Isaiah Rodgers would come in. But since Isaiah Rodgers is out, that must mean that whenever they go, I wonder if the same rules apply. Would Quinyon Mitchell go to the slot whenever they go into the nickel formation, and then Kelee Ringo comes in? Or will they just keep Quinyon on the outside all throughout the game and put Avonte Maddox in the slot? Or Cooper DeJean, right? It all remains to be seen, but I think those are the two options. Either we're going to see a game where Quinyon Mitchell plays exclusively on the outside, or we're going to see a game where Quinyon Mitchell plays on the outside in base formation, and then when they go into the nickels formation, he's going to shift over to the slot, and then Kelee Ringo comes out and play outside and nickel. That's going to be, those are the two options they have. That's what I think. That's what I think. Let me get to some of your comments here. Let's see. All right, so let's see what we got. Bite Me says Eagles defense was 30th in points per game allowed last year. Packers was 10th in points per game allowed last year. Stop it. That's actually a lie. The Packers were not 10th last year. The Packers were actually 13th in the NFL. Just want to correct you there. The Eagles defense, they were 30th and the Packers were 13th. So let's just make sure that let's make sure we got that correct right there. They weren't 10th, they were 13th. Also, just to where are we? Where are we here? Another thing about that Packers defense that I want us to know about. Here's another thing that we got to be honest about. Let's get this off the screen. The Packers defense isn't as flawless as their fan base wants you to believe. Their defense can actually be had, regardless of who they got over there. Here are some numbers from the Green Bay Packers 2023 defense. And again, I don't want to rely solely on last year's stats because that's pretty much dead and gone. But I do want us to understand that Packers defense is far from perfect. They can be had. Here are some metrics from last season as it pertains to the Green Bay Packers. This is me being unbiased. This is me just bringing up the reality. The reality is in 2023, the Green Bay Packers defense's averages were this. They were 13th in opponents' points per game. They were 22nd in total yards allowed. The Green Bay Packers allowed 345 yards total a game last year. That's 22nd in the NFL. They also were 28th in rushing yards allowed. They were one of the worst teams in the NFL in terms of defending the run. And they were 13th in the league in pass yards allowed. They were a middle of the pack pass defense, pretty much. They were just above average in terms of pass defense. That's playoff level. 14 teams make the playoffs, right? 7 teams from each conference. The Packers pass defense was 13th in the league, which in theory makes it playoff level. So that's passable in my opinion. I'm not going to kill you guys for that. But being 28th in rushing yards allowed, that's unacceptable. That's not playoff level at all. Allowing a grand total of 345 yards a game, which is ranked 22nd in the NFL, that's not playoff level at all. So, but regardless, though, I will say this, though, the Packers defense was better than the Eagles defense last year. I'll give you that if that makes you feel better. The Packers defense was better than the Eagles defense last year. I'll give you that. I'll definitely give you that. That's not a problem for me. That's not a problem for me to admit at all. The Packers defense was a little bit better than the Eagles. When you guys sucked at defending the run, we were a little better at it. In terms of a season totality of numbers, we were better at it. When it came to stopping the pass, we were not good at it. You guys were actually pretty solid at it, right? In terms of points allowed, points allowed per game, right? You guys were 13th, which is solid. We were not good at it. So I feel like you guys had a better defense last year than us. I think that's a fact, but I don't think the margins is as wide as you want to make it seem. And this is me just being reasonable. This is me being reasonable. I'm not lying. I'm literally looking at it right here. I'm looking at 2023 points allowed per game. They were 13th. You claim you're looking at ESPN. All right. And just because you put per in something doesn't make it intelligent. So let's see what he's looking at here. Let's see what he got. All right. Team stats, defensive leaders. All right, let's see. Let's see. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9. He think he's slick. He think he's slick. I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at team rankings. I'm looking at multiple places. I'm seeing it ranked 13th. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing, big dog. I'm looking at it right here. 13th. I ain't got. Matter of fact, I'll pull it on screen. I'll pull it on the screen. So nobody think I'm lying here. I'll just put it on the screen. All right, let's bring it up. Okay. So this is NFL team opponent points per game from the 2023 season. Okay. This is via team rankings. Team rankings. Let me get this. So let me scroll down here. Again, this is opponent points per game. NFL team opponent points per game from the 2023 season. Baltimore at 1, Kansas City at 2, Buffalo 3, San Francisco 4, Tampa Bay 5, New Orleans 6, Vegas 7, Pittsburgh 8, Dallas 9, Jets 10, Houston 11, Minnesota 12, Green Bay 13. And there we go. I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to lie about this. Not one bit, not one iota. I have no reason to lie. I don't gain anything from lying to you guys. Anyway, regardless, I don't have a reason to lie. So, I mean, here we go. Nonetheless, though, it's going to be an exciting game. And I could care less about what other fan bases have to say. You know, I like to make sure I take care of my own business first before I focus on other people's business. And when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles defense, they have a ton to prove. Because in my honest estimation, this isn't going to be a game that the Philadelphia. Let me frame it to you this way: this isn't going to be a game where it's decided by whatever Green Bay does, and I mean this respectfully. This game isn't going to be decided because of something Green Bay does. This game is going to be decided based on whatever the Philadelphia Eagles do. If the Eagles come out and they on their A game, this game is not going to be won by the Packers. If the Eagles come out and they underperform, Packers win. This game is going to be decided based off of what the Philadelphia Eagles do, not the Packers. And I mean that respectfully. Infamous, you funny as hell. Infamous says, I don't think you lying, Tone, but saying what I got to lie for is like the number one sign someone's lying. Really? Since when? Since when? I thought I swear to God was the number one barometer of saying somebody lying. I thought swear to God was that. I thought as soon as someone swears to God, that's how you know they're lying. But nonetheless, though. Infamous said Tone already ready to say the Eagles lost because they beat themselves, not because Packers better. No, I mean, from top to bottom, I think the Eagles are better. I just do. I just do. I just think I think our offense is more talented. The defenses are debatable, but I think this game is going to be decided based on what the Philadelphia Eagles do. That's how good I think we are. That's all. But regardless, though, it's going to be a fun game, and I really can't wait. So, where are we now? We're going to get out of here pretty soon, you guys. I really do appreciate you guys for locking in on the content the way you guys have. Means a lot to me, man. You know, listen, I could do all the talking in the world, but it doesn't mean anything. You know, I get to do all the talking because the Eagles can't, right? They got to be professional. They got to play the game. But overall, you know, there's nothing really more to break down about this game. It's going to be decided on Friday. It's going to be decided on Friday. I can't wait. So tomorrow we're going to have a call-in show. We're going to have a call-in show tomorrow, and a lot of you guys are going to be able to come in and speak your piece about your franchise. And how I like to do them is I like to just let you guys cook, and however you feel is however you feel. You know, I'm not here to change your minds, like I say. You know, I want you guys to speak your piece, be the best version of yourself. Just keep everything respectful. That's all it is. We're going to do a call-in show tomorrow, and I really can't wait to talk to y'all. I don't know what time I'm doing it yet, but it's definitely going to be before. It's going to be before 2 p.m. for sure. It's going to be before 2 p.m. Eastern. So, again, we're going to do a call-in show. I'll welcome all fan bases. I welcome all fan bases to come in, speak their piece, speak proudly about their team, give me their prediction based on how the game's going to go. I want all that. I want all the smoke. But keep it respectful, and we'll have a hell of a show. You know, I do my best to try to respect y'all. So just make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. It means a lot to me. We're going to get out of here. As I always say, you guys, make sure to stay humble, stay healthy, stay hungry. I'm so grateful for the support you guys have given me. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.